Good morning. We're going to go ahead and get started. We'd like to welcome all of you here on this wonderful Wednesday morning. We're going to go ahead and open up in prayer. So if I could get all of you to please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we are so very thankful for this day that you have given us, and we look forward to an awesome day of fun, competition, friendships, fellowship, and just enjoying the time that we have as we celebrate the triumphs of this youth organization. These kids have worked so very hard through the entire year with their projects, and we are just starting to cross the finish line of completion this week at our wonderful, wonderful Preston County Buckwheat Festival. We thank you for all the people here. We thank you for the children. We thank you for the volunteers. We thank you for protecting all of us. And Lord, even though it's muddy, we thank you for the rain. And so as we work through all of today, just continue to bless each and every one of us. And it's in your precious name that we pray. Amen. You would now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by playing of our national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody and thank you for coming to our land show and showmanship. We're going to start with showmanship. If you're just arriving and you have not gotten a list of classes, there are lists on each side by the stairs if you would like a list of the showmanship and the market classes. I'd like to introduce our judge. His name is Logan Swanovic. He's from Rockwood, PA, and he resides there today. Logan has been involved in the show livestock industry for over 15 years, where he has had the opportunity to judge in multiple states across the country, as well as be a part of the Weaver Leather Livestock Pro staff. Logan owns and operates Swanovic Livestock, where he focuses on raising and selling market goats across the Midwest. Please join me in welcoming Logan to the Buckwheat Festival. All right, we're going to get started with our first class of sheep showmanship. This is our seniors, ages 16 and up. I need Carolee Foltz, Elizabeth Witt, Ava Bishop, Colson Manco, Isabel Hauser, and Sarah Conklin.
Checking, you don't want me to place these top to bottom. Would you prefer that?
That's fine. Then I can go to my
If you want me to do that, I
Sure.
can.
And then we're just going to be truly picking the first one. But yeah, if you want to place them, that's great.
You go back just a little bit further, and you can stay right in the middle of the ring.
Morning, everybody. That's loud. Appreciate the opportunity to get out here and sort your sheep and goat show today. I think a really good way to get our day started with this senior sheep showmanship out here. I think from top to bottom, there's a lot of quality here. The two young people are going to go ahead and win this particular class. I guess we only get to pick one, but I did truthfully place this top to bottom, although these young people are kind of inverted. The young man here in the yellow is going to be the winner in your senior division. I think for me it's consistency, and that's something that I'm going to sound like a broken record all day. From start to finish, you need to be consistent. I know we have smaller numbers in this show, but as you go up and you progress in size of show and quality and depth of animals, you typically only get one chance to make an impression. If you're out in the ring and you make a mistake one time when that judge is looking at the State Fair of West Virginia, that could be the difference between winning your class and being fifth in your class when they're really deep. So I think truthfully that's the biggest thing is consistency with this young man, going beyond the basics, because the senior showman should all have that down, and I think for the most part we do. The feet are square, his pressure point is in the right place. When I get my hands on the sheep, he's got adequate pressure in there. His body positioning and posture around the front end of that sheep, I think is really nice. I think if we're going to critique him maybe just ever so slightly, I would probably like to wrap you around the front end of that sheep just a little bit to hide a little bit more of the front end of that thing's shoulder blade to make him just seem like he transitions a little bit smoother. But again, I think he was just a nickel quicker to the punch, in particular when we get him stopped and set up to the young lady in two. I think beyond that we're extremely similar. And again, I'm not really taking anything away from you there, because I don't want you to come out here and rush and seem like you're in a rush, and you definitely don't. I think again, you need to just get a nickel quicker to the punch. When we get those sheep stopped, get that thing set up just a little bit quicker, get on that stick a little bit quicker, and I think you're just every bit as good as the young man that wins this particular class. But top two, really good, really close decision between those two. The young lady that comes out next is actually the one on the far side of the ring in the purple shirt. I think the big thing for me, again, the fundamentals are there. That sheep wants to get a little bit tight spine sometimes. I think we're just overdriving him ever so slightly. I think we back off the pressure just a little bit, just essentially get him square and stand in front of him, act like you're bracing him. I think you're just as good as those top two. I think he just wants to overdrive for you just a little bit. Young lady coming out next, same type of issue, to be totally honest. Sometimes that sheep's overdriving, sometimes he's underdriving. Just a little bit more consistency on the brace, I think, can move up in the class. The two young ladies that round out the class, it's truthfully just a pressure issue. We need to work on getting those sheep to push into you guys just a little bit harder. But I think we do that, you could probably bump up a little bit too. So good class of senior showmen there. Let's give them a round of applause.
Our senior division champion showman is Colson Manco. Second place, Elizabeth Witt. Third, Isabel Hauser. Fourth, Ava Bishop. Fifth, Caroline Holtz. And sixth, Sarah Combs. Okay, now we're ready for our intermediate division, ages 12 to 15. We have two classes. Our first class, I need Haley Roy, Kylie Frankhauser, Claire Foley, Kennedy Coder, Silas Ringer, Madison Newmeyer, and Eli Johnson.
young ladies here with the black sheep are going to go ahead and come back for your senior division overall here. So I think, again, I think it's consistency things that put them to the top for me, and I didn't instruct them to go in any sort of position here, so that's my fault. That's why we're a little haphazard here in the middle of the ring. But again, I think it's consistency things that puts them both to the top. I'm not going to critique them too hard because they're going to come back and show again, but give those two young ladies a round of applause. They'll be coming back here in a minute for your something. You guys know what I'm talking about. I think as we go ahead and move on down the line here, I'll make a few brief comments to all these young people so that at least they know where I'm coming from here. I think the young lady in the cheetah print shirt here, you're really close to making that cut. I think for me it's a pressure thing. We need to get a little bit more drive out of that sheep. Probably putting your pressure lower into that sheep's chest floor would get him just a push a little bit harder for you. The young lady that's coming in the pink right behind you, we're the two that were right on the cusp of coming back. I think it's body positioning for you. I think again, similar to the young lady in front of you, you need to drop your pressure point just a little bit lower. I think if we drop your pressure lower, we get that sheep to just race into you just a little bit harder than he is. So I think you're doing a lot of good things. You got him square, your eye contact is good. You like to adjust that, and how you work around that front end of the sheep when you're giving you a front end shot. I like to alter that just a little bit. Instead of kind of sitting in our brace position, I like you to get off to the side of that sheep and face me head on and around the front end of that sheep. Did a really nice job. Really, again, close to the cusp of making the pull here in your intermediate division. The last three young people, honestly, truthfully, it's the same issue. We need more brace out of all three of these sheep. I think, in general, I think it's how we're putting our bodies into the sheep. I like to wrap all three around the front end of those sheep, almost have that sheep directly in between your legs. We get them like that, and you're putting most of the pressure with the lower portion of your thigh, almost to your knee, to the lower portion of that sheep's chest bone. I think we do that, we get more pressure out of them, and the sheep tend to dance around just a little bit less when we do that. But nice class of intermediates there. Let's give them all a round of applause.
Division, number 12 to 15, I meet Beta Wall, London Castile,
Again, another really nice heat of intermediate showman here. 3 young ladies on this side of the ring are the ones we're gonna bring back. And again, I'm not gonna over talk them or truthfully talk them at all until we bring them back out here in a minute. But let's give those 3 a big round of applause as they exit the ring, and then we'll kind of discuss this. So again, I think top to bottom the quality is good. So I'm going to pick out a couple here. The young lady in the front, directly behind her, and the young man in the purple, all really close to being the cusp of making this next cut. I think it's small things. I think the young lady at the front, I think occasionally we're just overdriving that sheep. Right now, absolutely dead nuts perfect. She's exactly where she needs to be. Occasionally we're overdriving. When we overdrive that sheep, she tends to fall apart in terms of her top line. I think, again, not all of these sheep we just need to brace into super hard. A lot of times it's getting them square, getting in front of them, acting more so like we're bracing them than we really are. But again, really close to the cusp. The young lady right behind her, again, close to making that next cut. I think for me, I'd like to wrap you around the front end of that sheep or kind of way off to the side. When we're way off to the side, it makes the sheep's shoulder blade look just a little bit more bold. It looks their breastplate, makes it appear like their breastplate's a little bit more bold. If you wrap around the front, you're kind of using your leg to hide at least the majority of that sheep's front end. It makes them seem like they blend a little bit better for their front 1/3. So I think we do that. We could probably move you up into that cusp, but very consistent. The sheep's square, head and neck positioning's right. You look comfortable and confident. I appreciate that. Those 2 really close to the cusp. Young man in the purple, again, I think when you get that thing stuck and she's cooperating with you, you're just as good as anybody in the class. Unfortunately, it's a team sport. She wants to dance around on you just a little bit too much. I tried to give you 2-3 chances coming through from the hand when it's almost every time I come up to touch her and she wants to bug out on you just a little bit. So if she's more consistent, I think you're probably right there with the cut. 3 young people that rounded out here with these 2 young men and the young lady at the end of the line there. I think it's probably just more consistency as you're getting pressure and brace out of those sheep. I think if we can get those things to push into you guys, we're probably a little bit closer to making the cut there. But another nice class of intermediates. Let's give them a round of applause.
Test. Okay, our second class of intermediate, the top 3 picked out coming back is London Castile, Payson Varner, and Cameron Hayes. 3rd place, Veda Walsh. 4th, Kylie Richards. 5th, Landon Uphold. 6th, Levi Deeds. 7th, Colton Blable. And 8th, Chloe Kelly. Okay, we're ready for our top 5 to come back in for overall intermediate. I need Haley Roy, Kennedy Koger, London Castile, Payson Varner, and Cameron Hayes.
taking a little bit more time on this. So I think these intermediate showmen, again, are probably going to be in contention as we go down throughout the rest of this showmanship show. I think all 5 of these young ladies out here do a tremendous job. There's certainly differences between everybody out here. In my mind, it comes down to 2 where it gets really close, and I won't make any means about it. I won't keep you guessing. It comes down to the young lady in the purple paisley right in front of me, and it comes down to the young lady in the darker green with the blue sheep down here. Again, I think you study these 2 throughout this, in particular this second heat of intermediate showmen here, this overall for intermediate showmen. You'll find that those 2 are the most consistent. Those sheep's feet are square up underneath them where they need to be. Their body positioning and posture is right on. I think both of these 2 young ladies maybe just have a nickel extra flair than the other 3 that are out here. Maybe it's just a little bit more intensity. It's just a little bit more it factor. It's nearly impossible, at least in my opinion, to adequately describe that on the microphone, but it's a combination of eye contact, intensity, the flair that they put on when they're showing those sheep. So again, it's how they put their body in relation to that sheep's body, how they show off the front end of that sheep when I get around the front end of those. I think for me, again, if I said it once, I said it 20 times already, it's consistency between the 2. I think one of these sheep was just a little bit better behaved, in particular when we got towards the latter end of this. I do probably just prefer ever so slightly leg placement on the one that I'm going to use for champion. I think it hides the front end of that sheep just ever so slightly better. Again, that's really nitpicky. Either one of the 2, or frankly all 5 of these young ladies could show sheep for me any day of the week. With that being said, I guess I should go and talk these other 3 just slightly before I give you a champion. I think the young lady with the blue sheep in the front, I think we need to alter neck position. I think we need to get that sheep's neck back in her just a little bit to create that 90-degree angle. Sometimes you're pulling that sheep's neck forward just a little bit too much for me. The young lady in the paisley behind, honestly, you are right in the mix of things. You are very consistent about what you do. Unfortunately, consistently, that sheep's front legs are just too far up underneath him. Right now, his front legs are sitting at about an angle like that. I'd like those things much more straight up and down. I think he's like that. You're just as good as those 2 young ladies. Unfortunately, that was just a consistent problem that was happening, frankly, in the division, or in your heat, and in the division. And the young lady that's coming out next right behind you, when you get that thing stuck, just as good as anybody out here, unfortunately, you're just not as consistently getting that pressure out of them. So let's fire it up for them one more time, and I'm going to show you the one that I like the best.
I did not.
3?
Yeah.
Okay. And then 4 or 5? Okay. The way you talked about them, I was guessing, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I just didn't get those girls when they left.
I'm sorry, we adjusted the mic. My bad. The overall intermediate champion is Haley Roy. Second place, Cameron Hayes. Third, Payson Varner. Fourth, London Castile. And fifth, Kennedy Coger. We're ready for our junior division. We have 2 heats. Our first class, I need Brantley Ames, Hunter Swanson, Delilah Ringer, Malin Gibson, Ryan Foley, Brady Dietz, Sadie Funk, Jenny Peasley, Addison Erdinger, and Hattie Coger.
Or you can just stop, okay, in that profile. Bring it straight out and then face just facing that way. Just right here, okay? Have you come out the right line, okay?
Quite honestly, it gets more difficult for me as we go lower in the age ranges. And again, I'm not specifically sure what age range all these kids are out in the ring. I think, to be totally honest, it becomes less important how well we're showing these sheep as long as we're out here having a good time showing these sheep at this point in time. Now, that's not taking anything away from the three young people that have come back. They're a little bit more serious about it, and that's totally fine. These three young people, again, in terms of just the basic fundamentals, I think we're a little bit closer to where we need to be. Keeping all four of those feet square, trying to keep our body wrapped around the front end of those sheep, getting a little bit more brace out of those sheep. I think those three in this division do the best job of that. And again, that's no particular order. Those are just the three that we're bringing back to reevaluate your juniors in general. And again, I'm not going to get nitpicky on each one of these individually as we go throughout the line like we did in our older showmanship divisions. I think, again, in general, we'll just break it down to basic fundamentals. I think the big issues are, let's just really concentrate on making sure we get these sheep's feet square. So getting all four of them set. I know sometimes you guys are a little bit smaller. It's hard for us to get down there and grab them with our hands. What I did when I was your size is to get into those sheep, and then you can bump them with your leg to try to get those back feet square, and then for those front feet, you can go ahead and reach down and set them up. But I think, truthfully, all in all, it's working on getting those feet, the sheep's feet square, and then from there we can try to get a little bit of pressure. But I think eye contact, things like that, these young people are doing a nice job. But I think, again, we just need to work on those fundamentals just a bit more. But there's a nice class of junior showmen there. Let's give all of them a round of applause as they walk on out.
Coming back for overall junior champion will be Ryan Foley, Addison Rodeheaver, and Hattie Coger. Class of junior division showmen, I need Olivia Kelly, Maylee Hayes, Izetta Bierbauer, Bentley Dalton, Aubrey Semple, Carson Belanger, Scarlett Hayes, Harper Wilkes, and Caitlin Kelly. These kids are 10 and 11.
Again, another nice heat of junior showmen out here. Three young ladies, obviously, on this side of the ring are going to be coming back for your overall. So let's give them a round of applause, and then we'll talk to them here just a minute. I think same thing can be said for our last division. and this division as far as the kids on this side of the ring here. I think truthfully, just getting back down to fundamentals, although to be totally honest, I think probably depth of quality is a little bit higher in this particular division. There's some kids over standing on this side of the line, maybe would have had a little bit easier time making the cut in the opposite division here. But I think keeping those the feet on those sheep square, getting our pressure points into them is probably the biggest thing. I think overwhelming, we just need to do a little bit more drive, a little bit more grace out of these sheep while keeping those feet square. But again, there's good showmen on this side. We're not going to nitpick them each individually, but getting a little bit more grace, getting those sheep's feet square at the ground, those are probably the two most important things at this stage of the game. But everyone's out here having a good time, exhibiting their sheep to a pretty high degree. So let's give everybody a round of applause as they walk on out the ring.
The three that are coming back will be Maylee Hayes, Aubrey Stemple, and Caitlin Kelly. Actually, if you girls just want to stay right here, let them exit, and then I'll bring the other two back, okay?
Good job, girls.
Okay, now we're getting ready for our junior overall. I need back in the ring Ryan Foley, Addison Rodekeeper, and Hattie Coger to join Maylee Hayes, Aubrey Stemple, and Caitlin Kelly for overall junior champion.
You should win this. Girls can go ahead and go down and line up, okay?
Nice group of juniors when we get both of these heats back back here together. And I hope from the outside looking in, you can try to get a grasp of what I'm looking for here. Again, we've got the basic fundamentals covered with this group out here. All of these sheep, for the most part, are square at the ground. For the most part, these kids are getting enough pressure out of these sheep. Again, for me, it's going to come down to consistency. I think there's one young lady out here that is just more consistent than the rest, and that started in her heat, and then she gets out here again. That one is always the most correct at the ground. She is the most cognizant of where I am in relation to her sheep. She does the best job of showing off the front end of that sheep. In fact, she's as good at anticipating where I'm going to be and where I'm moving, truthfully, as probably any of our age divisions thus far. I think that's something important I haven't hit on the mic yet. But as you watch me move around the ring, I'm not making some abrupt turns and trying to surprise anybody. You can kind of tell if I'm walking down to this side of the ring, I'm going to get around the front end of your sheep, and vice versa. If you're showing me a front end view and I'm working my way back down this way, you're kind of anticipating what I do when I do that. So again, for me, it's consistency. I think pressure point is right. She's not overdriving the sheep when I'm off to the side of them. When I get my hands on them, she's getting plenty enough pressure. Body positioning, posture, confidence. I think the whole package, again, is just the most consistent with the young lady that wins this division. I think some others, maybe just inconsistencies in terms of overdriving our sheep just a little bit. Maybe our sheep wants to dance around just ever so slightly. And maybe we've got some things that I'd like to tweak in terms of body positioning and posture in relation to getting that sheep stuck. But I think top to bottom, really nice junior set here. Let's give them a big round of applause. I'll go show you the one that I like the best.
Logan, did you place the rest?
In the order that I
Okay. So Bailey's second, Jason. Bailey's second. And
then we had third here. Yeah.
okay, and then off.
Yep.
Bailey.
Fourth.
Now go get from the green.
And then the young man.
Now what? What about Patty? Where did Patty go?
Our first place and our champion junior showman is Caitlin Kelly. Second, Maylin Hayes. Third, Aubrey Stemple. Fourth, Addison Rodekeeper. Fifth, Hattie Koger. And sixth, Brian Foley. Now we're ready for our overall champion showman. So I need back in the ring our senior champion, Colton Manco. Our intermediate champion, Haley Boyd. Our junior champion, Caitlin Kelly, and they will be joined by Emily Schillingberg, our 2023 champion, and Brooklyn Castillo, our 2022 champion. And this will be for overall champion sheep showman.
Patty Coker was 5. And then Brian Foley. Yes, that's right. And then you know Patty. No. Patty Coker is the other one. If you can't find her, we'll write her name on the back of the page. Very good.
really happy with the group that we finish out with here for your overall champion showman. Again, I know we talked the other three that I got to sort individually in divisions. I'm going to tell you right now, there's a reason these two young ladies are back in here that I didn't get to sort today. And I can tell you right now, if they were out here for their individual divisions, they'd be right back here in this ring right now. To be totally honest, and again, it's not taking anything away from the rest of the three of you out here that I got to sort earlier today. These two other young ladies are kind of in the league in the run out here, and to be totally honest, I could flip-flop back and forth probably 8, 10, 12 different times. I could keep them out here for another hour and a half and probably change my mind another dozen times in between the two. I think for me, we're way beyond basic fundamentals here. I mean, obviously, both these sheep dead nut square at the ground, they're driving uphill, their body positioning and posture is absolutely dead on, their head and their necks are in the right position. I think for me, it comes down to slight stylistic differences. Me personally, I was a little bit more of an intense showman. I think I prefer that when I'm out here in the ring now. I think the one between the two that's just a little bit more extra, just in terms of being extremely aware of where this sheep is maybe tweaking herself just a little bit that we need to change, or maybe like rub the belly just a little bit, or just get the top down just ever so slightly. And then when we work around the front end of those sheep, I have a stylistic again preference in between the two. I prefer how the one of the two showmen gets off just a little bit more, faces me directly head on, versus getting off to the side and kind of giving me a back view of the showman and a front view of the sheep. Again, I'm not saying that there's wrong with either two styles. I think a different guy comes out into this ring, they prefer a little bit more relaxed showman, maybe someone who's just a nickel less fidgety. I'm okay with that too. If you're upset with me because you didn't win between the two of you, totally okay. I think you should be, because I think you both deserve a banner in here. Unfortunately, I only get to pick one of the two of you, but two really heaters at the top of this division. And again, that's not taking anything away from the rest of these three out here, because again, they do a really nice job. Any of the 4 or 5 of you could show sheep for me any day of the week. But let's give them a big round of applause. It's a heck of a good group of showing out.
Our overall champion sheep showman for 2024 is Emily Schillingberg. Going to move right on into our market show. We have 3 divisions. Our 3 lightweight classes. We're going to start with division class 1. We're going to grab a backdrop picture really quick with Emily and Logan, and then we'll bring our market class in. Sorry about that.
tag 364. Colton Lamble, tag 309. Colson Mango, tag 356. Delilah Ringer, tag 361. Ava Bishop, tag 307. Hattie Coger, tag 315. Izetta Bierbauer, tag 302. Bentley Dalton, tag 320. Silas Ringer, tag 363. And Sarah Conklin, tag 318. These lambs weigh 100 to 109.
Nice class of market sheep to start off our day. I like these two the way they stand, and I'll talk 1 through 5 in this particular class, and honestly throughout the day. I think advantages of the ewe lamb that wins this class. She's bigger and more robust and square in terms of her pin set. She offers you more substance of bone and fuzz down low. In comparison, other than that, I think the two sheep are both very similar. They're both goosey fronted, long, skinny neck. They offer you both a lot of shape over the top side of her skeleton. Again, that's a square pin ewe that offers you more substance down low in comparison to the Weather and Two. If you want to say the Weather and Two balances up a little bit better in terms of flank line and chest floor, I'll grant you that. Again, he's one that's just a little bit rounder in terms of his tail head, a little bit narrower in terms of his pin set. He also, again, sacrifices some fuzz and some bone work down low. That's a really nice complete Weather. I'm not so certain we put 20 pounds on him and I don't switch that pair. That's a nice young green sheep to start off our day in the 2-hole. That's a nice class of sheep. The one we have coming out next is a nice ewe lamb. She's maybe just a little bit rougher in terms of her appearance from the side. You get up to the side of this one, she's a little bit more pitch and recessed at her hip point junction. I'd like to take a vertebrae out of her tail head there. I think that'd make her appear just a little bit level at her hip. Again, maybe one that just doesn't offer you quite as much bone and fuzz as the top ones. But you get over the top side of this one, that's a big rib one with a big rack and a big loin. Again, she's just rougher cut, not as smooth and big bone as the sheep. Go ahead and win that class. That's a nice ewe lamb there to stand in third. What we have coming out next of a different type and kind than the top 3 sheep in the class. This one's squattier to the ground and she's shorter body, just a more moderate sheep in general. And this is probably a breed sheep that would fit better in an ALB class or a breed class because of her frame size and her coloration. Again, I'd like to make her just more athletic. She needs to be a rib longer, a little bit taller at the point of her shoulder blade, just being a little bit more athletic without a big old back in her. Just not quite that athletic show sheep look that the top 3 have in this particular class. One we have coming out next to round out our top 5 here. Let's give you a more athletic look than this sheep that's right in front of her, no doubt about that. This one just needs more muscling for me. She needs more time on feet. She needs to lay on more muscle to that skeleton to go up any higher in this particular class. The sheep that we round out this class with here, same type of issue here, and this is probably something that will be consistent throughout the day. These sheep just need more muscle, more bone, more substance for a market sheep show for me. They're not bad sheep, they're just not as heavily muscled, quite as much market sheep as the beginning of this particular class. But nice class to start our day there. Let's give them a round of applause.
First place and our first place county bred is Colson Manco. Second place, Hattie Coker. Third place with our second place county bred is Ava Bishop. Fourth, Bentley Dalton. Fifth, Silas Ringer. Sixth, Sarah Conklin. Seventh, Delilah Ringer. Eighth, Izetta Bierbauer. Ninth, Silas Ringer. And 10th, Colton Lambert. Class 2, I need Brooklyn Castile, tag 310. Levi Dietz, tag 324. Ryan Foley, tag 331. Maylee Hayes, tag 343. Scarlett Hayes, tag 345. Aubrey Stemple, tag 371. Kennedy Coger, tag 316. Emily Schillingberg, tag 370. And Landon Uphold, tag 373. These lambs weigh 112 to 118.
Morning.
Significant increase in quality top to bottom in Class 2 of the market sheep. They're not taking anything away from Class number 1. I think all 5 of these sheep are in the top end of this class probably win the previous. And again, that partly has to do with weight. Certainly as we get a little bit higher in weight, the sheep can put on a little bit heavier muscling. With that being said, the young lady in the pink here, directly in front of me, obviously is going to have your class winner. I think as a whole, this is the most complete sheep in this particular class. This is the one that's the stoutest in terms of his forearm. He opens up with the most width of chest. He's got the cleanest and neatest breastplate of any of the top 3 sheep in this particular class. I think major advantages of the sheep in 1 over 2. Again, you study forearm, he's more robust and stouter in his forearm. He's more cracked open and wide in terms of his chest floor in relation to the sheep in 2. That was the biggest pin, biggest one in this particular class. He offers you plenty of rib shape and substance up high. I think that's a really nice complete sheep to win this particular class. Now the one we have coming out in 2, that sucker's sporty. You want to talk about one that's goosey fronted, long, skinny neck, is attractive, and the way his shoulder blade lays into his rib cage, I tie into that one really hard. Again, where he sacrifices in comparison to our class winner, he's narrower in terms of his chest floor, he's flatter in terms of his rib cage. I think the rear 1/3 of the sheep is every bit as good. That one's wicked big pin. He's got a big old square loin edge in him. I love the way he goes across his top side. Again, he's narrower chested, he's flatter across his rib cage than our class winner. That's still a heck of a good sheep to stand in 2. Love to look at 3 from the side. This one balances up in proportions really well. I do think he sacrifices slightly in terms of balance to the second place sheep in this class. This one can be deeper in his flank, shallower in his chest floor. I think we make that one neater in terms of his chest floor, give him a shot more base width from behind. That's as good as any of the sheep in the class. Unfortunately for me, again, it's a little too narrow from behind. He's a little deeper chest than what I would deem ideal. But again, I think that's a sheep that gets better with age. Get your hands on this one. You can almost still feel that guy's spine. That one's ridiculously clean. I think the fatter that sheep gets, the better he gets. Just not quite there for me today. One we have coming out next. This sheep is more finished in terms of her overall body condition. Unfortunately, it's a little bit squatted at the point of her shoulder. I'd like to elevate her to the apex of her shoulder blade, give her a shot more length and neck and attractiveness to her front 1/3. I think that sheep maybe could move up a spot. One that rounds out our top 5. Again, a really nice ewe-lamb. Sacrifices some in terms of balance for me. She's a little bit drier in her flank. She's a little bit deeper in terms of her chest floor as comparison to the couple sheep in front of her. Can you get your hands on this one? Especially for sheep that are this green in terms of body condition, I'd like to firm up her handle just ever so slightly. I don't think she handles bad. She's just not quite as crispy as those sheep in front of her. But again, nice complete type view. Maybe just doesn't quite give you that sporty look at the top 4 in that class. But really nice top 5 there. Let's give them all a big round of applause.
First place in our first place county bred, Brooklyn Castile. Second place with our second place county bred, Haley Hayes. Third place, Emily Schillingberg. Fourth, Aubrey Stemple. Fifth, Landon Uphold. Sixth, Kennedy Coker. Seventh, Scarlett Hayes. Eighth, Levi Dietz.
Ninth, Ryan Foley. We're ready for our third class. I need Bentley Dalton, tag 321. Madison Dumire, tag 326. London Castillo, tag 312. Madison Dumire, tag 327. Eli Johnson, tag 348. Ryan Foley, tag 330. Kylie Frankhauser, tag 332. Harper Wilk, tag 378. And Brantley Ace, tag 301. These lambs weigh 120 to 124.
Nice class here to round out our lightweights. Again, I think the difference is maybe this class doesn't come together with quite the depth of quality that we have in Class 2, but I think the class winner here fits right up with those that won, the winners from 1 and 2. I think, again, this is the most fault-free complete sheep in this particular class. She's the one with the biggest rib cage. She's the one that offers you the most shape out of the backside of her shoulder. You get your hands on this one again. She handles just the most authoritative across the top side of her skeleton in general. She's the biggest one with the most square edge in her. She's the one that probably offers you the most or the second most substance down low. I think we get critical on this one. She could be a little bit goosier fronted. She could be a little taller at the point of her shoulder blade. Just a little bit more athletic to her front and third. But again, that's getting nitpicky on one sheep. I think it's really complete. That offers you a lot of power, a lot of balance, maybe just not quite crazy looking as compared to some of the sheep that we saw earlier. The 1 and 2 probably does give you a shot more look in terms of height of shoulder blade and skinniness and neck. Unfortunately, you get into the 3/4 and you get in right behind this one. He's one that's flatter in terms of his rib cage. He's narrower in terms of his chest floor as compared to our class winner. You get your hands on him. I think he offers you enough shape up high. He's just not quite as heavy muscled as our class winner. And I think when you got a class winner that's built as good as she is and offers you a lot more muscle, you got to use that one again. Big, robust one down at the ground. Offers you a lot of look. Just needs to be rounder cage, a shot more muscle to go up any higher in class for me. One we have coming out next, I probably appreciate a little bit more in terms of presentation and ring presence in the sheep in front of him, in front of her. Unfortunately, you study her right here through her rear 1/3. She's one that wants to close up in terms of her pin shape. She's a little bit narrower pin for me in comparison to the one that stands in 2. She also wants to roll off in terms of her tail. And I think we fix her pin set. She probably pushes that sheep a little bit harder because that is a good cage one that offers you some aggressive muscle shape and texture up high, maybe just not quite good enough hip for me today. The one we have coming out next, sheep is just too moderate for me just in general. We need to lengthen this one out in terms of her body length. We need to heighten her at the point of her shoulder blade to go up in there. But still one that offers you a ton of rib cage. That's as big a cage sheep as we've seen today. Offers you a lot of power over the top side of her skeleton. She's just a little bit too pudgy for me. She's a little bit longer, a little bit more lean, mean, athletic to go up any higher in this class. You lay him out behind her, probably does offer you that. Unfortunately, again, for me, similar to the one that was a couple places in front of her, this one rolls off just too much in terms of her pin set. You need to square up in terms of her pin set, give her a shot more base lift down low to go up higher. Again, good looking sheep, tall at the point of the shoulder, skinny neck, good looking, just not quite good enough right there for her hip structure to go up any higher for me. Nice top 5 there. Let's give her a round of applause.
First place and our first place county bred is London Castile. Second, with second place county bred, is Harper Wilt. Third, fourth, Ryan Foley. Fifth, Madison Dumeyer. Sixth, Eli Johnson. Seventh, Bentley Dalton. Eighth, Madison Dumeyer. And ninth, Brantley Ames. Now we're ready for our Division 1 champion in reserve. I need back in the ring our first place, Colson Rango, tag 356. Brooklyn Castile, tag 310, and London Castile, tag 312. Our second places I need in the ring, Hattie Coger, tag 315, Maylee Hayes, tag 343, and Harper Wilt, tag 378. And then on deck, I need Ava Bishop, tag 307 for county bred, please.
Logan, I forgot to mention county bred.
Okay.
So we'll do reserve and grand, and then if they're not county bred, we'll bring the one more back in. All of them in here currently, except for one are county bred.
Really nice division of lightweights. To be totally honest, you never know what you're going to get into when we go to a smaller county show. I don't know if this is technically a county fair or if it's not. Again, it's a privilege to come out here and sort really nice livestock. Again, not that I don't enjoy it when the stock gets in this high quality, it certainly makes your job a lot easier as a judge. You get the sound cooler on the microphone, and you get to pick them a little bit rather than just coming out and say, these ones aren't heavy enough muscle, these ones aren't heavy enough muscle. We haven't ran into that problem from the first class through the third class so far today. Some of the sheep that we saw on Showmanship that are a little bit bigger, I'm sure that's not going to be an issue throughout the day. So I'm already going to commend you guys on the quality of stock that you have down here. In West Virginia, I got to sort a show earlier this year in West Virginia, and I was certainly pleased with the quality, so you should all commend yourselves. So getting back to the sheep in this particular division, both sides of the ring, open the outside in, outside looking in, excuse me, you can kind of tell what I'm trying to do here. Sheep follow a similar type and kind. Now they're not all cookie cutter, and to be totally honest, it's not going to be that way all day. I do try to stick to somewhat of a similar type and kind. Livestock comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes. We got some sheep out here that are a little bit taller, goosier, more athletic looking. We got some sheep out here that are a little bit more moderate, a little bit more bulldoggy, but still offer you, in my opinion, enough look. So I think in general, all these sheep have enough muscling, all these sheep have enough feature, all have enough show sheep look to look in place out here in the division drive. I think with that being said, on the front end of these sheep, I'll just break them down real quick. We talked to them in class. Really nice few lame that wins class number 1. Maybe one that just doesn't balance up quite as well in terms of flank and chest floor is what I'd appreciate. But still one that offers you a lot of muscle over the top side of the skeleton, big old hip and big old pin in that one. One that wins class number 2, certainly the deepest and stoutest class all day. This is the one that's the stoutest pin sheep in this particular drive, no doubt. In my opinion, he's got the biggest, roundest, most robust rib cage in this particular division. Not going to beat up on him too hard. That one's a really nice sheep that wins class 2. You lame that wins class 3 again. One that offers you a bunch of power. You love how that one offers you a bunch of shape and spread behind her shoulder blades. She's got a nice thin set in her. Again, maybe one that's just not quite as goosey through her front 1/3 as the ones that are directly in front of her, or maybe the ones on the other side. As we roll into the 2s, again, as we mentioned, maybe one that's in 2 that just gives you a shot less bone work than the one that wins that particular division. The one comes out of class 2 second place out of class 2. Again, this one's right in the hunt. That's a really, really nice sheep. He's maybe not giving us quite the best look right here, but that's a big pin one. Offers you a bunch of aggressive muscle shape over the top side of his skeleton. That one is goosey and loose up through his front end, long, skinny, pencily neck, shallow through his chest floor. That one's pretty wicked in terms of that regard. And then the one that ends up 2 out of our 3rd class. Again, big featured sheep, offers you some muscle, just needed some more shape and spread. So with that being said, another really, really nice division out here. Let's give them a big round of applause. I'm going to show you the 2 that I like the best.
Our Division 1 champion goes to Brooklyn Castile. She also gets our Division 1 County Bred champion. And our Division 1 Reserve champion goes to Maylee Hayes, and she's also our County Bred Reserve champion.
Good.
Now we're ready for Class 1 of our Division 2. I need Sadie Funk, tag 337, Brady Deeks, tag 322, Harper Wilt, tag 379, Izzy Hauser, tag 340, Payson Varner, tag 375, Jenny Peasley, tag 357, Colton Lamble, tag 308, Malin Gibson with tag 338, Malin Gibson with tag 339, and Cameron Hayes, tag 341. These lambs weigh 125 to 131.
another really nice class, solid top 5 to start off your middleweights here. And the most complete sheep's the one that wins this class, at least in my mind. This one puts parts and pieces together of the second and the third place in this particular drive for me. You study this one at the point of his shoulder blade. He's really tall and expressive right there in terms of his rack shape. He's butterfly open there. You get your hands on him, he's really juicy there in terms of his rack shape. You move on back from there, he's the most correct when you get your hands on him right through his loin shape. He's really big and full and square in terms of his loin edge. He blends the best right here in his hip-loin junction probably. In comparison to the sheep in the second place hole in this particular class. Again, that one's shallow chested, he balances up well, he's got enough substance down low. I like that sheep's hip shape, I like the expression he's got over the top side of his skeleton. It's a nice sheep to go ahead and stand in the 1 hole in this particular class. One we have coming out in 2. This sheep's stouter in our class winner, there's no doubt about that. He's bigger hip and he's bigger butted and stifled than the one that wins this particular class. If you want to just cut him on that one probably does win the class. Unfortunately for me, he's won the chest floor. He's a little bit more pinched right here in terms of his hip-line junction than our class winner. I think we smooth that one up in terms of his top line. We shallow up in his chest floor. There's no doubt about it. That's the stoutest sheep in this class by quite some margin. That's where the sheep in 3 falls short for me. I love the look of the sheep in 5. He's way shallower and way taller shoulder than the sheep that's in 2. He blends better in his hip-1 junction. Unfortunately, you can fit 2 of this sheep inside of the 1 and 2. We're still talking a market shedding here. I love the shouldering look and appeal of this one. This one's too flat, too narrow, too light muscle to beat the 2 sheep in front of them, but you love the look and athleticism of that sheep. Great build, not quite enough muscle for me to go up any higher than the 3 hole in this class. What we have coming out next, again, this ewe-lamb, does offer you more muscle than the one that stands directly in front of it. I'll grant you that from the outside in. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Unfortunately, again, for me, she's dumpier and lower at the point of her shoulder blade. She's fatter and more robust through her neck shape than the one that comes in front of her. We make that one more athletic, give her a shot more bone. She's got a chance to go up higher. Weather lamb that comes out next, maybe one that just offers you a little bit more athletic of a look. Similar problem to the sheep that stands in the 3 hole. This one's too narrow, this one's too light muscle. We give that one a bigger rib cage and more muscle. I think he goes up higher. But nice class there. Let's give him a round of applause.
First place, Payson Barner. Second place, Izzy Hauser. Third, Cameron Hayes. Fourth place with our first place county bred is Harper Wilt. Fifth place, Sadie Funk. Sixth place with our second place county bred is Jenny Peasley. Seventh, Brady Deeps. Eighth, Colton Blamble. Ninth, Malin Gibson. And 10th, Malin Gibson. Class 2, I need Kennedy Coger, tag 317, Ava Bishop, tag 306, Kylie Frankhauser, tag 333, Claire Foley, tag 329, Caitlin Kelly, tag 350, Sadie Funk, tag 336, Maylee Hayes, tag 344, Hunter Swanson, tag 372, Brantley Ames, tag 300, Brooklyn Castile, tag 311, and Cameron Hayes, tag 342. These lambs weigh 132 to 140.
They're all in there.
Yeah, they're dirty.
Okay, there's 11.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, Jimmy. This class is so okay.
Miss T.
Okay. So I just want to make sure if you just go to that.
Another really stout class here, middleweight sheep. Certainly getting more of the sweet spot where we want these sheep to be in terms of muscling and body conditioning. I think we get to this class winner, and in a really deep class, he wins so and does so fairly easily in my mind. Let's study this guy at the ground. This one's got the biggest boots in this particular class by a mile. He's the one that's the stoutest and the squarest in terms of base to the ground when he's on the standstill and when he's on the move. I think he built on that square and that robust of a skeleton. You look up from there, you don't want him to disappoint you, and he does not. That one's stout in terms of his forearm, that one's big and burly in terms of his rib cage. He's juicy and expressive across the top side of his skeleton. He's got a whale of a hip. He's got a big old stifle and a big old hind end. He balances up and proportions well from the side. That's a nice show sheep. That one's my kind. That one wins a deep class fairly easily, in my opinion. It's a really good sheep to win this particular class. Now again, I talked that one really highly. That's taking nothing away from this sheep that stands at 2. This one, I think, wins a lot of the classes that we've seen earlier today, just in terms of a sporty looking one, similar honestly to the last one that you showed me in a previous class. This one's sporty looking. That one's tall at the point of his shoulder blade. He's shallow in terms of his chest floor. Unfortunately, you stack him up to the sheep in front of him. He's one that's narrow in terms of his pin set. He's slightly more restricted in terms of his hip-loin junction. He doesn't offer you quite the bells and the whistles and just the overwhelming mass and power that the class winner does. But that's a sporty, good-looking sheep. I don't read that one with a lot of holes. He just doesn't have quite the ESPs and quite as cool of a package that the one that wins this particular class does. One we have coming out next, that's a stouter sheep than the one that's in 2. There's no doubt about that. Unfortunately, this one falls apart just a little bit in terms of his rear leg structure for me. This one's too straight in terms of the set to his rear leg. He's a little weaker in terms of his pasture than what I deem ideal. We give that one more flex and more stability through his hind wheels. We strengthen him in his pasture. He's more competitive with the sheep in front of him because this one definitely is more powerful. He's bigger in terms of his head, he's bigger in terms of his stifle shape. Again, unfortunately, rear leg structure is not good enough on that one. It tends to throw off his balance from the side and from the move. Black Ewe that comes out next. Balance and proportion probably better than the one that's standing directly in front of him here with this weather. She's probably better in terms of her rear leg set. She's flatter in terms of her rib cage. She's narrow in terms of her pin set. Doesn't offer you that overwhelming mass and power that the sheep in front of her does. Again, not big holes in this one. She needs more extras to go up for 3 really high quality sheep in front of her. A nice Black Ewe in there. And 4, when we round out our class with here, again, just in terms of, overall stoutness. This one's really stout. She's got a big old back in her. She's got a big rack in her. Again, she's deeper and plainer through her chest floor. She's drier through her flank than what I would deem ideal. Probably need to give that one a shot more bone work. Just in terms of straight power sheep, that one's a nice one right there though. Really good top 5 there. Let's give them a round of applause.
First place, Brooklyn Castile. Second, Cameron Hayes. Third, and our first place county bred is Maylee Hayes. Fourth, Kennedy Koger. Fifth, Hunter Swanson. Sixth, and our second place county bred, Kylie Frankhauser. Seventh, Caitlin Kelly. Eighth, Ava Bishop. Ninth, Claire Foley. 10th, Sadie Funk. And 11th, Brantley Ames. We're ready for our last class of Division 2. I need Elizabeth Witt, tag 381. Brady Dietz, tag 323. Olivia Kelly, tag 354. Levi Dietz, tag 325. Sarah Conklin, tag 319. Carolee Foltz, tag 334. Beta Walsh, tag 376. Hattie Koger, tag 314. Scarlett Hayes, tag 346. And Payson Varner, tag 374. These lambs weigh 141 to 140. I would also like to take this time to recognize our rated game winner for the lambs. In the ring now, Sarah Conklin with tag 319 is our rated game winner for sheep. She will actually be riding through the Buckwheat Festival parade on Saturday. And we also have a banner for you on the way out, Sarah.
Another nice class here, logical class winner in my opinion. Honestly, similar type and kind to the sheep that wins the previous class. This one just puts the most good together and the most fault-free package for me. This one's the stoutest at the ground. He offers you the most shape up high and the most spread. That one's shallow in his chest floor. He's soggy in his flank. He offers you a nice height in the shoulder and nice attractiveness through his front 1/3 again. I think that sheep just puts the most good together in this class. For you to get your hands on that one's actually really impressive. To be honest, your question from the side, because that one's so big cage, is he getting a little bit soft? I don't think he is at all. You get your hands on that one, he handles really appropriately over the top side of his skeleton. It's a really nice sheep to go ahead and win this class. Blue Lane that comes out next. I like a lot of things about this one. I like how tall this mule is at the point of his shoulder. I like his skinniness of neck and his goosiness of front end. Unfortunately, he gives up a lot of substance of bone and structure down low. He offers you maybe not quite as much balance from the side. This would be a little bit softer in his flank, a little bit shallower in his chest, but just a nice, powerful type of sheep there to stand in too. What we have coming out next, love the sporty look of this one. That one's got big old feet and legs on him. He's got a big old tall front end in him. Unfortunately, he's just too narrow for me. This one needs to be wider at the ground. He needs to be wider over the top side of his skeleton to go up any higher. The ewe-lamb that comes out next, I like a lot of things about this one. I like, again, you get up to the side of this one is probably the neatest in terms of her flank and underline of any of the sheep in this particular class. Unfortunately, you study her pin set. She wants to recess right there at her tail head just a little bit. She wants to be one that's just a little bit lower at the point of her shoulder blade as compared to the sheep in front of her. But again, a lot of good pieces there. Now needs to be sportier up front for me to go up any higher. Ewe-lamb that comes out next, that's a long bodied one right there. In fact, I think she's maybe just a skosh too long. I think we take a rib out of that one's body, we clean her up in her hip-loin junction, she probably pushes that ewe-lamb in front of her. That one's got a lot of power, a lot of top-side shape, maybe just not quite that look to go up any higher. But that's a nice top 5 sheep in this particular class. Let's give them a round of applause.
First place, Payson Varner. Second place with our first place county bred is Scarlett Hayes. Third place, Hattie Koger. Fourth, Veda Walsh. Fifth with our second place county bred, Carolee Foltz. Sixth, Levi Dietz. Seventh, Brady Dietz. Eighth, Elizabeth Witt. Ninth, Olivia Kelly. And 10th, Sarah Conklin. Now we're ready to do our Division II champion and reserve. I need Payson Varner, tag 375. Brooklyn Castile, tag 311, and Payson Varner, tag 374. These are our first places. I need Izzy Hauser, tag 340, Cameron Hayes, tag 342, and Scarlett Hayes, tag 346. And we will end up doing a separate county bred because there's only one lamb in this group that is county bred.
Super impressed with the quality of the sheep throughout the day, particularly this middleweight division. I think both sides of this arena out here, the first and the second, they actually fall into maybe more of a cookie cutter shape and size and design than what I typically find in the sheep show. And I think that probably speaks to the overall quality of the show. In particular, 3 sheep on this side of the line. I think from the outside in, you can kind of tell what I'm looking for here. All these sheep look really simple. They're all stout at the ground. They're really good in terms of their skeletal quality. They're offering you plenty of shape and substance when you study them in terms of their skeletal market merit, just in terms of having that little bit of extra power and that balance. Now, what separates the one that's going to win, he's got those ESDs. He's the biggest legged. He's the biggest hip. He's the biggest back. Now, again, that's not always just what you need to win a show. If you can have those ESTs in the most attractive package while still being the most balanced, I think that's when you want to run into those ones that are just really special and really quite good. I think that, again, there's one that wins, comes out here and wins so fairly handily for me. It gets a little bit closer for reserve, in my opinion, to the ones on either side of them, because I think both of those sheep are really quite good in their own right. So with that being said, it's another really nice division. Let's give them a round of applause. I'll go show you the one I like the best and reevaluate for reserve.
Scarlett, you stay.
The rest of you can be excused. Scarlett, you stay, please. And then for our county bred, I need my first place county breds, Harper Wilt, tag 379, Maylee Hayes, tag 344, and Scarlett Hayes, tag 346.
So you just move over one row, Scarlett.
And our second place county breds, I need Jenny Peasley, tag 357, Kylie Frankhauser, tag Colts, tag 334, please. And this will be for your Brandon Reserve Division 2 county bred.
Yep.
Your Grand county bred is Scarlett Hayes, and your reserve is Maylee Hayes. Okay, we're ready for our Division 3, Class 1. I need Veda Walsh, tag 377, London Castile, tag 313, Carson Belanger, tag 304, Claire Foley, tag 328, Carolee Foltz, tag 335, Kylie Richards, tag 360, Emily Schillingberg, tag 369, Colson Mango, tag 355, and Elizabeth Witt, tag 380. These lambs weigh 147 to 153.
Amanda, you can tell them to relax because Timothy Colton came out of the ring and just
We're still waiting on one because she just left the ring. So.
Someone's grabbed me a Mountain Dew, so I'm good. One water is good. No, I'll probably, once it heats up today, I'll probably go back to it. She's good. We're plenty good on time. Is there a breeding show? Oh, okay.
This is your class.
similar class, truthfully, to what we've seen kind of throughout the day. So we got 3 different types of sheep at the top end of this class. I think the one that's the combination type sheep, the one that's the most complete, the most fault-free, is the one that wins this particular class. I think big advantages to the sheep that wins this class versus the one in second. You study this one's forearm. He is really expressive and attractive through that forearm shape. He is the one that's neater and shallow through his chest floor. Maybe just a nickel bit more attractive through his front one end in general. Maybe just being a little bit cleaner through his breastplate and his chest floor than the one and two. That one's stout at the ground. That one's got a big set. That one handles with a lot of authoritative shape over across his top line. He balances well. He flexes well on the move. I think is again probably another deciding factor between the two. That's a sound sheep, a good build sheep, one that offers you some extras as well. That's a really nice one to win this class. The one we have coming out in 2, there is zero doubt about it. The sheep is way stouter than the one that wins the class. I'm not arguing with you there one single bit. That one's bigger pin. He's bigger cycled. He's bigger across the top side of his skeleton. Differences between the 2 sheep. That one's plainer, deeper in his chest floor. He's a little bit stiffer and more restricted in his motion. Do I think he's bad in any of those areas? No. Do I think he's just good in our class winner in those areas? No. I think that's the difference between those 2 sheep. I'm not just huge on using always the biggest, heaviest muscle one, although he is that. I think he puts it together in a good package. Just not quite as good as our class winner, but it's a heck of a good sheep staying in the 2 hole in this particular class. One we have coming out in 3rd. A similar story for a lot of these 3rd place sheep today. Love the build of this one. He's sporty, he's good looking, he's tall, he's athletic. Not enough power for me. You can fit 2 in that sheep and the one in front of him and the 1.5 in the one that wins this particular class. This one just needs some stouter. We need to make a bigger pin and wider across the top side of his skeleton. But he's good featured, he's sporty, he's good looking. Just not quite enough power for me to go up any higher. I like this sheep coming out next. That one certainly runs uphill. I love that one's extension through his front 1/3. Unfortunately for me, he's probably just a little bit narrower pinned and just a little bit plainer looking in general from the side from the sheep in front of him. But again, it's a nice one there that offers you some power. Maybe just not quite as much as the ones in front of him, but really high quality top end of sheep in that particular class. Let's give him a big round of applause.
First place, London Castile. Second, Emily Schillingberg. Third, Colson Manco. Fourth, with our first place county bred, Veda Walsh. Fifth, Elizabeth Witt. Sixth place with our second place county bred is Kylie Richards. Seventh, Claire Foley. Eighth, Carolee Folks. Ninth, Carson Belanger. Class 2, Division 3, I need Addison Rodeheaver, tag 365, Chloe Kelly, tag 352, Haley Roy, tag 367, Eli Johnson, tag 347, Kylie Richards, tag 359, Addison Rodeheaver, tag 366, and Caitlin Kelly, tag 349. These lambs weigh 155 to 160.
Good class of heavies here. The young lady in the darker blue shirt is going to win this particular drive. For me, the most fault-free sheep in this particular drive. This is the one that offers you the most substance at the surface in terms of bone work. He's the most robust there. I think again, you get off to the side of the sheep, and this one again offers you just the most look. He's the most appropriate in terms of the depth of his chest floor. He's the one that offers you the most width and the correct shape across that one's hip. Again, we're getting bigger in the pound weight of these sheep. I think that one still handles awesome when you get your hands on him. He's still crisp and freshly across the top side of his skeleton. He's not pushing too much cover over his rib cage as well. I think that one puts together a really nice package for a heavyweight sheep there to win your class. The one that comes in two is the young lady in the pink shirt directly here at the front of the line. I think you study this one from the side. He offers you a similar picture to our class winner for me. He's frailer featured at the ground. He's narrower in terms of his pin set. Again, you get your hands on this sheep and you can tell this thing has been fed adequately for the size. This thing's not fat. He's crispy when you get your hands on him again. Use a little bit narrower pin, a little bit frailer featured as compared to our class winner, but still appropriately fished, really nice big sheep to grab the 2-hole in this class. Elan that comes out next. This is the one that's pushing a little bit of condition issues. You get your hands on this one. Excuse me. She's a little soft to the touch. She's pushing a little bit too much condition over her rib cage, but you like this one in terms of her look from the side. Again, she's just a little bit pudgy for me and a little bit plainer handling than the ones that go up higher. The sheep behind her here, this blue weather, maybe one that's more adequate in terms of his body condition. You've done a nice job getting the sheep finished to an end market weight. Unfortunately, he's a little bit more pinched in terms of his hip-joint junction. He wants to roll off in terms of his tailhead there. I'd like to back his vertebrae up, maybe one scotch there, make him blend a little bit better through his hip-joint junction. I think he grabs the 3-hole in this class. But again, done a nice job beating that one. That's a nice market sheep. One we have coming out next, maybe not just that wow-type muscle shape and texture that the sheep in front of them have. This one's a little bit rounder when you just study this one's muscle. I like to square this one up in terms of tailhead. I like to square her up in terms of her loin edge. Give her some more aggressive muscle shape. I think if we do that, that one probably works up the class just a little bit higher. But nice complete type sheep, maybe just not quite that wild, aggressive muscle shape and texture. To the round out the class, this condition issues me. These sheep just are pushing too much condition, too much fat across their body while we need to trim them up to go up any higher. But good class there. Let's give them a round of applause.
Those two.
First place, Haley Roy. Second, Addison Rodeheaver. Third, Addison Rodeheaver. Fourth, with our first place county bred, Caitlin Kelly. Fifth, Kylie Richards. Sixth, Eli Johnson. And seventh, Chloe Kelly. I'm sorry. Kylie Richards, our fifth place, also had our second place county bred. Sorry about that. Okay, our last class of Division 3, Chloe Kelly, tag 351, Haley Roy, tag 368, Olivia Kelly, tag 353, and Carson Belanger, tag 305. These lambs weigh 164 to 177.
She definitely got it.
good class to round out our heavies here. The black sheep that's directly in front of me is going to go ahead and be your class order. Again, similar to the last class, this one is just by far the most appropriate when you get your hands on this thing. This is a bigger frame sheep in general. I think, to be totally honest, you did a good job putting them in the heaviest of the heavy. This thing is just tall, long, athletic in general. He's tall at the point of his shoulder. You get your hands on this one. It's greasy in terms of his back shape. He offers you a lot of loin shape. I like the look of this one from the side. I think we get critical on this one. He maybe wants to roll off in his hip a little bit. He maybe wants to close up just a little bit when he gets out there and gets moving. But again, this is by far the best sheep in this particular class, in my opinion, and he wins so fairly handily. The young lady's sheep coming out in second. This one's really burly. He's wider than the sheep that wins the class in terms of chest width. There's no doubt about that. Unfortunately, you get your hands on this one. He's a little bit plainer in terms of his loin shape. He's a little bit more over-finished when you get your hands on him. I will say, for this particular class, he is the second most appropriate when you get your hands on him in terms of overall finish and fat cover. That's why he stands in two. He's got a big old stand-up rack as well. I appreciate that. Young man sheep coming out next. You appreciate how much power this guy has. Unfortunately, again, he's just got way too much fat cover for me. We need to trim that one up, and the same thing for the ewe-lamb that rounds out the class. That's a nice sheep. She's got a lot of muscle. She's just too pudgy for me today. We need to trim her up there in the fat cover. Nice class to round out our heavies. Let's give him a round of applause.
First place, Haley Roy. Second, with our first place county bred, is Olivia Kelly. Third, Carson Belanger. And fourth place, with our second place county bred, is Chloe Kelly. Now we're ready for our Division 3 Champion Drive. First places, I'm London Castile, tag 313, Haley Roy, tag 367, and Haley Roy, tag 368. Our second places, I need Emily Schillingberg, tag 369, Addison Rodeheaver, tag 365, and Olivia Kelly, tag 353. And we'll do a separate drive for county bred because we only have one lamb in this group that is county bred. Okay, we're ready in the ring for London Castile, tag 313. Haley Roy, tag 367. Haley Roy, tag 360. From Emily Schillingberg, tag 369. Addison Rodeheaver, tag 365. And Olivia Kelly, tag 353. And just a reminder, we need our champions from each division of our lamb show on deck. Right after this, we're going to be doing our overall brand and reserve market lamb for 2024. So I need Brooklyn Castile with 310, Maylee Hayes with 343, Brooklyn Castile with 311, Payson Garner with 375.
for county bred. We also need Scarlet Hayes 346 and Bailey Hayes 344.
Happy with our heavyweight tribe out here. Similar to the other divisions, I think you can appreciate the type and kind that I'm looking for out here. Our heavies as well as our middles and our lights. I think, again, we study these sheep at the ground. I think all of them are fairly adequate in terms of their skeletal integrity. I think there are differences between them. I think, again, it gets a little bit closer for Zerb. I think there's one that comes out here. He suits my type and kind the best of any of these. I think he puts the most good things together in the most complete package for me. It certainly gets closer for Zerb, and in my mind it's between two sheep that are really couldn't be polar opposites to each other. I think there's one that's just overwhelmingly stout, offers you probably the ESTs of this division. He's the biggest back, the biggest butted, the biggest hip one. Does that one offer you enough substance down low? Is he free enough moving in his hind wheels? I don't know. I think the other one's in my mind. Is he a little bit more flexible on the go? Yeah. Is he maybe just a little bit too big framed? Does he give up just a shot more power than the other one? Yeah. So I think it's personal preference in between those two for reserve. Again, I think there's one that wins this division fairly handily, in my opinion. So with that being said, I'll pick your champion. I'm going to go ahead and look at him one more time for reserve. But let's give them all a big round of applause. It's a nice heavyweight division.
Division 3 champion is London Castile with tag 313. Your division, Lee Schillingberg with tag 369. You girls will stay close, please. Now we need to do our county bred, Division 3. I need Bea Walsh, tag 377. Caitlin Kelly, tag 349. And Olivia Kelly, tag 353. Our first places. I need Kylie Richards, tag 360. Kylie Richards, tag 359. Chloe Kelly, tag 351.
good set of county breds out here. We already talked these sheep earlier. Let's give them a round of applause. I'll go show you the two that I like the best.
What? It's Kylie Claire. Oh, yeah. 36. Tag number. 316. Okay, let's go to the picture. And this one's Kylie.
Your Division III County Bred Champion is Veda Walsh with tag 377. Your Division III County Bred Reserve Champion is Kylie Richards with her tag 360. Now we're ready for our overall. We need Brooklyn Castile, tag 310. Brooklyn Castile, tag 311. And London Castile, tag 313. We need Maylee Hayes, tag 343. Payson Varner, tag 375. And Emily Schillingberg, tag 369.
I'm really pleased with the overall quality of sheep we've had, top to bottom, first class to last class. I think we found good animals in every single class, which again, that speaks volumes. You guys sitting outside the ring, your parents, your helpers, kids, your guys' ability to feed them, select them, take care of them all throughout the summer. I know it's a long project, it's a hard project. So moving away from just the quality of sheep, although that is really important to me being a livestock guy, I think the quality of the kids was even higher today. That is significantly more important than the quality of the sheep, at least in my opinion. So my thanks goes to all you guys sitting ringside, the helpers. Go ahead, please, give them a round of applause. I appreciate it. Again, that's truly what it's down to at the end of the day. The parents, the helpers, kids, they sacrifice a ton of time for you all. In case you all haven't figured it out yet, this is a very expensive hobby. It's a very time-consuming hobby. It requires a lot of sacrifices. From the outside looking in, if you're not real familiar with the sheep show industry or the show stock industry in general, I will guarantee you that every kid standing out in this final drive right now has made significant sacrifices all year long to get these sheep to look the way they do. That's missing ball practice. That's missing class. That's missing going out on a Friday night with your friends, going to the rodeo, doing this, doing that. You don't get sheep to look this good, or you don't get any livestock to look this good without making those sacrifices. So parents, I thank you for getting your kids into it. They're going to have already learned and will continue to learn invaluable lessons for the rest of their life. These are going to be the CEOs, the managers, the people that take over the next generation. I've seen it time over and time over. I'm now a lot older than I'd like to admit I am, and having been in the real world and the real job setting for a while. My peers in the livestock industry continue to excel over people who are not involved in it. even over high school sports, anything like that. So parents, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You got your kids into the best possible thing. Kids, thank you for what you do. Make sure you thank your advisors, your parents for what they do for you, because again, it takes a lot. So beyond that, the quality of sheep has been amazing from top to bottom today. I'm really happy with all 6 of them that we have out here today. I think there's 2 that serve us at the top, mainly in my opinion, and there's 1 between those 2 that's truthfully a heater. I think this sheep is good in a county fair setting. I think he's good at a state fair setting. I think he's taking the bigger shows and competitive at those as well. So with that being said, I'll put the mic down. Let's fire it up one more time and congratulate all these kids.
Okay, go ahead, Jace. Okay. Hey, he said he'll take it.
Bailey stay. Your overall grand champion market lamb for 2024 goes to Brooklyn Castile. And your overall reserve champion market lamb for 2024 goes to London Castile. Now we're ready for our county bred overall. I need Brooklyn Castile with tag 310, Scarlet Hayes 346, and Beta Walsh 377. Then I need our second places, Maylee Hayes, tag 343, Maylee Hayes, tag 344, and Kylie Richards, tag 360.
Should be commended as a county to have raised this good of sheep and this high quality of sheep. Again, I think we bring these out here. We don't sacrifice much in quality from our grand drive to these ones that came and were born and raised right here in the county. So I think you should be proud of yourselves for raising these sheep or getting them within the county. I think the breeders, if you're sitting outside of the showroom, you should be proud to have raised these sheep. I think they all offer you some quality. So with that being said, I'll put the mic down. Let's fire it up one more time. I'll show you the 2 county birds that I like the best.
Your county bred grand champion market lamb for 2024 goes to Brooklyn Castile. And your overall reserve champion county bred market lamb 2024 goes to Maylee Hayes. That concludes our market lamb show. Thank you all for coming. We're going to take some pictures at 1 p.m. for our market goat show.
You're past the lamb barn. He's really close to the right. I'll sit there talking to Jason. I heard Well,